Dying Light 2's Winter Tales event has just ended and it was nothing short of amazing. In my opinion, the best Dying Light 2 event we have had. Dying Light 2 has had its fair share of bad events, and if you know, you know. This event had almost everything down, from engaging content to the rewards and incentives. In this video, I'm not only going to be giving a complete review and rundown of the Winter Tales event, but I'm also going to be discussing what is to come next and why I'm so excited for 2024, and how crucial this year is for Dying Light 2. If you've been a viewer of the channel for a while now, you know that I make this kind of video after every update, where we review the current state of the game and we look at the future, with optimism and concern. This video is going to be my longest video yet, so sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and enjoy the ride. You will also be seeing some familiar faces in this video, so enjoy. I've added timestamps if you would like to skip to a specific part of the video, so feel free to do so if you want. If you enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and while you're at it, turn on post notifications so that you never miss an upload. And by the way guys, it's my birthday. Yep, January 5th was a wonderful day of my conception, so wish me a happy birthday, and if the video makes it to the internet, I didn't get too drunk. And for my birthday, all I ask is that you enjoy the video. Now it's about time we got started, but before then, I am proud to say this video is sponsored by WRAITH ENERGY. WRAITH ENERGY is a caffeine-fueled drink mix, packed with energy-boosting ingredients and mouth-watering flavors. WRAITH ENERGY is your secret weapon for gaming, workouts, or just crushing the day, all for an affordable price. Now I love each and every one of my viewers and appreciate the support they give me and my channel, and would never promote a product that is not worth it, so of course I gave WRAITH a try myself. I tried RG Berry, get it? Because it's RGB, RG Berry. No. This is a mixture of multiple berries and it tastes really good, but there's over 20 flavors to choose from, so try them for yourself. All you have to do is take one serving with a spoon provided, drop it into the shaker with water and give it a shake. So if you guys want to help me in my content creation, click the link in the description or at the top of the comments and make a purchase of WRAITH ENERGY using the code Jahmy20 at checkout for 20% off. Thank you, and let's get back to the video. Now before we go into the good, the bad and the ugly, let's just get a look at everything that was added with the update side of things. We got the addition of polearms, shurikens, explosive throwing knives, new finishers, nocturnal weapons, new zombie variants, night runner tools and new game plus. Dev tools got LOD support, which we will be going into more detail later on. A bunch of changed cutscenes, cross-gen saves for PS5, and they also finally added gun— oh wait, never mind. I'm just joking. Let's go into the event side of things. We saw the addition of snow, map changes such as Christmas decorations and Christmas trees. We saw the return of Baka and his assortment of loot, which contained some stuff from last year, a bow, snowballs which instantly freeze enemies, a new paraglider, and the best part of this entire event, the Skoll Axe. This axe is absolutely amazing. It's Dying Light 2's most unique weapon yet. Not only is it a cool glowing axe, but it also has the ability to return to you after throwing it, just like the Thor's hammer and the Leviathan axe from God of War. The best part is that it never gets old. Throwing the axe at enemies is so much fun and is so satisfying. Surprisingly, the axe was developed really well, and I experienced no bugs or issues with the axe when using it, and I tried everything from throwing the axe and running away to yeeting it off the VNC tower.
Hello there.
This event also added something new, which is the airdrops. Every time you leveled up with Baka, you could send Santa a letter which would call in an airdrop. This was guided by Uncle Snow, which is a snow demolisher, and his little helpers. And from this airdrop, you would get the new Christmas themed armor pieces. Now this event added not only something new for you to do, this also provided a nice loop of doing bounties, leveling up Baka, sending the letters, and doing the airdrops, then repeating. This event truly provided a sense of replayability and sustained entertainment like no other event provided in my opinion. Even the Halloween event, which by the way was good, didn't provide this level of entertainment. Incentive wise, the event was an easy 10 out of 10. That Skoll Axe alone was worth grinding for. The rest was just a bonus. This event truly made me feel excited for the future events of Dying Light 2, as I realised what Techland was capable of if they put their minds to it and focused on making a great event. The only gripe I had with the event is that once you completed it, it was done. And by that I mean once you had obtained all the rewards from the event, which took me about 3 days, there wasn't much point in playing anymore. The best way for me to put this is that the event lacked a replayable gameplay loop that can't be beaten and completed, if you know what I mean. A gameplay loop that will last till the end of the event, which was 2 weeks long. The case with most players is that they would log in, have great fun in the event, but once you obtained all the rewards, there was no longer the incentive to keep playing the event. On an unrelated note, I've seen a lot of requests for future events to have a storyline and specific missions for the relevant event. For example, if you remember the Payday 2 event, we saw a lot of people were sad that there wasn't a mission such as a bank heist. In the winter event, there could have been a storyline entitled Save Christmas. For example, an orchestrated storyline whereby you have to retrieve the presents from the Grinch or fight Krampus, if you get where I'm going with this, instead of the content always being tied to doing bounties in the open world. Now, we mentioned everything that was added with the community update side of things earlier. Now let's analyze and review each feature that was added. Starting with polearms. The introduction to the game was very smooth and I saw no issues with them. They even came with their own unique finishes. I think the animations for the polearms were perfectly fine, and yeah, no complaints from me. Next we're going to talk about the shurikens and explosive throwing knives. The shurikens had their own throwing animations and they threw 3 at a time, doing more damage the closer you were. It really did have me feeling like a ninja. Where I was disappointed though is the fact that there were no elemental throwing stars in the game like in the first one. I was expecting to see some fire throwing stars, freezing throwing stars, exploding throwing stars, but unfortunately we only got the basic ones. Also, a reoccurring issue that Dying Light 2 has is the third person animations. The new shurikens third person animations are just bugged and it breaks your shoulder every time you throw a shuriken, and I don't get why in a co-op game they completely ignore the third person perspective. This is far from the first time that they have ignored the third person animations. Just look at the third person head stomp animation or the wall run kick animation. Or should I say lack of one. I'm going to end this point here before I get lost in a rabbit hole of Dying Light 2's awful co-op experience. Now, speaking of issues in Dying Light 2, we are going to be talking about the flashlight, and for this I'm going to hand over to Jahmy, who is another Dying Light 2 content creator, so go drop him a sub and I'll leave a link to his channel down below.
Hey guys, it's Jahmy, thanks for having me. In the video here I discussed the reasons why the flashlight in Dying Light 2 is terrible. This is a huge problem for immersion as there is little to no shadowing around the infected or anything else in the game really. In the first game, this problem does not exist. If anything, there's much more depth to not only the infected, but the surrounding objects in the game as well. This makes me question why in the sequel, with an improved engine and far better technology, why do we not have dynamic shadows? I tested this out with the photo mode in Dying Light 2 because the lighting of the game actually changes upon entering it. Here, we can see there are shadows around the infected like what we might expect to be seeing in real time while you're actually playing. I believe this to be the same lighting conditions that play out in the game's cutscenes. As I was continuing to get footage, a funny bug happened where the infected's animation continued to play out even in the photo mode. As the zombie moved, the shadow did too. Here is all the proof that I needed to determine that dynamic shadows can be patched into the game and it would actually look pretty good. I find that the flashlight in the second game tends to wash out the image, especially when you're playing with different color grading modes on. Flattening an image in a game really detracts from the experience and it pulls you out of it, breaking immersion completely. I am unsure why the lighting changes when you go into the photo mode to match the cutscene lighting, but I noticed that there were no performance hits with the added shadows. Maybe this was done so the photos themselves just look better. It's possible that this was tested and they discovered that there were less consistent frame rates when roaming around the open world. Maybe with the gore and physics being rendered in, there were visual artifacts. Whatever the case is, I much prefer the look of the shadows that revolve around the flashlight. One more substantial change that I think they could add to the flashlight is flashlight inertia. This is unfortunately another feature of the flashlight that is lacking in the sequel, but I think a simple change to the movement of the flashlight will provide a much more immersive experience like the original game does. If Techland can pair inertia with dynamic shadows, that will do wonders for this game. Nighttime in Dying Light 2 will improve drastically with these additions. The first game was much more immersive with the shadows and made it a scarier experience, especially at night. Anyway, that's all from me. Now back to Jahmy.
Moving on to the explosive throwing knives. Explosive throwing knives are cool. Next up is the finishes. We saw the addition of 3 new finishes with this update. One polearm finisher and 2 more fist finishes that have a chance to be performed with every weapon. Oh, and by the way, did you notice that they actually reworked the knife finisher? Now instead of just stabbing straight through their head, you give them a few little jabs into the belly. I have nothing bad to say about this addition. The finishes are all awesome and the more finishes the better. Nocturnal Weapons were Dying Light 2's new weapon type, which glow and give unique buffs at night time. We first saw these in the roadmap trailer and I instantly knew I wanted them. If you know me, you know that I want anything that glows. And these Nocturnal Weapons finally give the immunity bar at endgame some use. Another great addition to the game, and no complaints from me. By the way, does anybody else really wish that you could hide weapon mods? To keep the mods but make them disappear off the weapon. I literally don't use weapon mods on my weapons because of how hideous they are. They ruin any weapon that they are placed on. I just can't bring myself to put mods on my Nocturnal Weapons. They just cover up the glow and make it ugly. Next we're going to be talking about the Night Runner tools being added to New Game Plus, a much requested feature that makes replaying the game a lot more fun and simpler. This feature has always been needed since launch of the game in my opinion, and I'm surprised it didn't make an entrance sooner, but here we are. A great much needed feature and a nice quality of life improvement. Techland also added some cool new enemy variants with this update, such as viral gas tanks, which by the way now fly around after being hit, fire tanks which burst into flames upon contact, freezing tanks which will freeze all the enemies around them, and poison viral tanks which will spit poison at you as well as smack you and poison if you get too close. Goons actually also got a rework, which made it so that the goons can now scream and they will attract banshees to their location. This makes them a bit more dangerous, and if I noticed correctly, goons also had an increase in health since I last played, and their attacks are much faster now. The goons seem to attack correctly and in succession now, instead of them doing one attack every 5 minutes. A huge shout out to Bestgamerali, who will be covering this next part since he is more experienced in the development of community maps. His channel link will be in the description, so go show him some love and drop him a sub for the help.
Hey everyone, this is Bestgamerali and I'm here to tell you about the LODs. Now what exactly are LODs in video games? Well, LODs is basically called the level of detail or level of distance in Dying Light 2. And what it does is it limits or extends how far your character can look in the distance. So imagine yourself playing Dying Light 2 and in the distance you're looking at a building, and instead of showing all the tiny details on the building, the game shows you a simpler version of the same building that's very less detailed. This is what we call LODs, and in Dying Light 2 you have this setting that allows you to limit how far in the distance your character can see. So if you have the LODs at max, then your game will look something like this, much more detailed and filled with stuff, but this will also put too much pressure on your system and you may get some frame drops. But the moment you change the LOD settings to low, then you will realize that certain things are not looking the same. Some things will start disappearing in the distance, some won't spawn, and some would actually spawn a little blurry. But the plus point, your game would be running much more smoother than before. So that's why LODs are so important, and Techland has recently introduced LODs for custom maps, which basically means that the map creators can now create bigger projects inside the developer tools like the E3 2018 Elysium without having to face any sort of lags. I mean, it's really a game changer, and the Renaissance team were only waiting for the LODs. So now that it's added, we can expect some good news from them very soon, and I hope you guys now understand what LODs are and why is it so important for the custom maps. And yeah, that will be it. Thank you.
Once again, a huge thanks to Bestgamerali for helping us out today. As you can see, the future of community maps is looking very promising, and I can't wait to see what the talented map developers have in store for us next year. I for one will definitely be keeping up to date with the progress of that Elysium map. And now that we have covered everything that is with the recent event and the community update, it is time to move on to what is next for Dying Light 2. And in order to figure this out, let's pull up the winter roadmap and begin crossing off what we have and find out what is left to be added in the next couple of months. So looking at this picture, we can cross off weapon repair, enemy variants, knives, polearms, free outfits, tech shack, gear and mod dismantling, new weapon rarity, finishes, explosive knives, throwing stars, bloom switch, and community mods support. All that's missing off of this bar right here is the nightmare difficulty. If we look at the bottom bar, we can cross off everything other than the 2nd anniversary event. If we look at the top here, we can see that all we have had so far is the replayable GRE anomalies. Now I've got some information which might lead us to believe that guns, Tolga and 15 and the Scorpio will be coming very soon. You see, just recently, devs actually changed the icon for pistol ammo. Now this may seem insignificant, but when these things can be found in the game files, it usually means they're ready to be implemented soon. The same goes for Tolga and 15, who were found in the game files recently. They just got added. So I'm thinking with the next update, we'll be seeing the addition of guns as well as Tolga and 15. And this also could confirm that there is a link between the two of them. Both Tolga and 15 as well as the Scorpio and guns had file changes around the same time. Now this could be a coincidence. You will probably be able to get the Scorpio from them in another vendor type scenario, which would make a lot of sense since the Scorpio is a very makeshift weapon and that's what Tolga and 15 specialize in. One thing I'm really curious about is whether the guns will make a random appearance or whether there will be a storyline linked to this. I've seen a lot of discussion about the addition of guns being linked to a story where you can find the hidden stash. I feel like the community will be very disappointed if guns just randomly appear in the world without any explanation. Let me know your thoughts on this. Now we're going to discuss Tower Raid and the most anticipated feature in the roadmap. If Tower Raid is a success, then Dying Light 2 will 100% see its peak player count since the start of the game. This is because if the game mode is made truly replayable, players will be on the game for a longer duration, since they won't be getting bored and getting off the game. This will allow for the concurrent player count of Dying Light 2 to rise as more players will be on at the same time. And the thing is, Dying Light 2 has a solid player base. The reason player count sometimes drops so low is due to the lack of content, but as you will notice with every major update, the player count spikes. For example, the Good Night Good Luck update, we saw player counts of 22,000 concurrent players, which is really impressive, and it goes to show just how many players are willing to give Dying Light 2 another go. Now after Dying Light 2, the winter roadmap will be completed, with everything being successfully implemented into the game, hopefully. The next step is the Big Boy DLC, and the return of Kyle Crane, which we have all been waiting for, which originally was meant to happen last year. That is actually crazy to me, but of course I would much rather wait all of these months for a great DLC than Techland just releasing a rush one in August. There is currently no news on the release date of DLC 2, all we know is that it will be coming out this year. My guess is soon after the roadmap is completed. That's why 2024 is a make or break year for Dying Light 2. If DLC 2 is terrible, then concern for Dying Light 2's future definitely arises. On the other hand, if DLC 2 is anything as good as the following DLC from Dying Light 1, we have hours upon hours of content ahead of us. All we can do right now is put our faith in Techland and hope and pray they don't disappoint. But I for one really do have faith in Techland and think that this year is going to be a great year for Dying Light 2. After DLC 2, Techland might start focusing on some more game modes to add to the game. Be the zombie. Be the zombie! So Techland, if anyone from there is watching, keep up the good work and just know that your community appreciates your dedication and commitment to your game. We love and respect all the improvements you have made to Dying Light 2, and from me personally, I think your resilience is deeply admirable. I may poop on your game a little when things get rough, but that's only because I love you. I look forward to a year of working with you to create content for your game, and I truly see potential Dying Light 2 has, and I'm glad to be part of the amazing community your game has created. Look at me getting all sentimental. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, bros. Hope you enjoyed. It's been your boy Jahmy. Peace.